all and welcome to Learn Somatics. Today we're going to get into what's called walking exercise 1. So this is a really nice movement to free up the hips, the lower back, and integrate the actions of the legs into the rest of the body. Good to do after a wash rag, after hip hikers and side bend as well. So if you haven't done those videos, you can have a look back through the videos and find those ones and give them a try too. So this is walking exercise 1. Okay, so in this exercise, you're going to have our usual position, which is knees bent, feet flat. But the difference now is you're going to actually bring your feet pretty wide. So if you're using a yoga mat or something like that, your feet about the width of that mat is going to be pretty much perfect. But yeah, find a position that's comfortable. The feet are wider than normal, right? And we're going to lie down. So to begin, we're going to use this left leg first because it's closer to the camera. So all you're going to do is you're going to begin to let your knee fall in towards your opposite foot. And you'll notice, let your outside edge of your foot on this side lift up. Okay? So you just want to see how far the knee goes. You're not forcing it down, you're just seeing where it goes. But you'll notice as you do this that your hip lifts up on this side. And to come back, bring your hip back down to the table and bring your knee up. So again, we're letting our knee fall in, but allow your hip to roll up off the table. And you'll see, when the hip rolls up, the knee can fall further down. And then roll the hip back to the table to bring the knee up and the foot back to flat. You're just going to repeat that a few times, just gently rolling the hip up. And notice how that allows the knee to drop further down. It's a nice movement. As your hip turns over and your knee drops in, you'll feel yourself lengthening down this side. So you don't want to be arching your back or flattening your back in this movement. You're just letting the hips turn over so that knee can fall in. And you'll find as you keep repeating it, and the better you get at letting the hip lift up, the better you get at letting the knee fall in. And it should always feel easy or low effort, let's say. None of these movements should feel difficult. They certainly shouldn't feel like you're working very hard. It's just nice and easy, learning how to coordinate and lengthen where we need to. Okay, just one more time. I'm bringing the leg back up. Okay, so just lay the legs out flat. And if you've done that correctly, with slowly and carefully, you should notice a difference in how the pelvis feels sitting on the table. It should feel between the left and right side of your pelvis. So just notice how it feels different after doing that movement of the hip and leg. Okay, now we're going to set ourselves up again, and we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So again, we're just going to let the knee fall in, and on the first one you just see how far it goes. You don't force it down, you just see what's there. And again, the hip sort of picks up, and we rock the hip back to the table to bring the knee up. And repeat, letting the right hip rock up so the knee can fall in. You'll notice the more you let your belly be soft, and your waist be soft, and your lower back be soft, the easier it is to tip the hip up and let the knee go down. So it's the same movements. And then you might find that one side feels very different from the other. That's okay. You just take your time and move within your level of comfort. So always stay within your own level of comfort. Hip rolls up, knee rolls in. And we roll the hip back to the table to bring the knee up. So we turn the hip over to send the knee to allow it to drop, and then we draw the hip back to pick the knee up. And just do that one more time. Knee drops in, hip rolls up, and then slowly back to standing. Okay, and again, let your legs relax down. and check in the feeling of the pelvis and the legs and into the lower back and waist. And that should start to feel now more symmetrical because you've just done both sides. You've given equal attention to both sides. Alright, so we said this was called walking exercise 1. And of course when we walk, we go left foot, right foot. So what we're going to do now is we're going to repeat these movements, but we're going to alternate left side, right side, just like we do when we're walking. So we'll start with the left, hip turns over, knee drops in, back lengthens on this side, hip lifts off the table. We're going to roll the hip back to stand the leg back up and let it roll the other way, so then right knee can drop in. Right side hip lifts up, right side back lengthens. And this is part of what happens when we walk. So you're just going to go back and forth, rolling the hips to the right, so the right knee can drop in, and rolling the hips to the left, so the left hip can drop in. So keep going in this manner. This movement of your hips, of your pelvis, one side going forward, one side going back, is exactly what happens when you walk. Walking isn't necessary, well, it is about your legs, but it's also about your trunk and being able to have good awareness of your trunk so that you can move freely and so that you can keep walking for a long, long time. Because remember, if you can't walk, you can't really look after yourself. You've got to keep your walking. So we're just rolling the hip over so the right knee goes down, coming back, rolling the hip over to the left so the left knee goes down, and just let the arms hang. Do 1 or 2 more times. Nice, lazy, very fluid, just like walking. Nice, it should flow. And once you feel like you've got that all smoothed out and feels pretty nice, you can pause, let your legs down, and completely relax. Again, you want to check in, see what's changed after doing back and forth. Should feel nice and weighted through your pelvis, tail should feel nice and heavy on the table, comfortable through the lower back, legs nice and relaxed, should feel good. So that's walking exercise 1. If you're someone who likes to do a lot of walking, that's definitely going to be one for you.